So, I've been working on this project for a couple months now. This project is dubbed, or idea is dubbed, Project Vanguard. I want to use a biblical verse, but before I use a biblical verse going forward, I want to use a motto, a Latin motto that is derived from Latin. And two of the pieces that are used in this motto is actually the motto for MIT, and it is mens et manus et cor, which means mind, hand, and heart. And we're going to need all those faculties going forward to bring about the best, in my opinion, possible chance of not necessarily survival, however, the possibility of thriving and thriving well. So this verse is from 1 John chapter 4, verse 4, and it goes as such. Little children, ye are of God and have overcome them, for greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. This is the translation from the Geneva Bible, year 1560. So you may be asking, why did he choose the term Vanguard? So Vanguard comes from, I want to say it's derivative of Latin. Hold on. Actually, it's a derivative of Old French. And the avant-garde, or better yet, the vanguard, is the one that is in the front. And sometimes, in some cases, the first line of defense is the last line of defense in some cases. Hopefully it's not that, but being able to come about an idea where myself and people like me can be at the tip of the spear to push the envelope of understanding. We're all dealing with challenges in our lives. Lord knows I am. But does these challenges that we're dealing with can open doors for new possibilities? Or will we let these doors that, I won't say doors, but these opportunities to climb higher or to dwell deeper, is that what we want? I listen to a lot of interesting ideas, and one of the things that I find very interesting is the word truth. And I always measure the word truth with a level of integrity. Now, not everything is going to be 100%, but we can and we should, and if we want future generations to thrive, we must let our divine convictions lead us forward instead of our carnal desires leading us downward. Because in this 37, 38 years of existence, it is our discipline that gives us the freedom, that opens doors. And if we don't choose our disciplines, we're not striving for the optimal or making what could be impossible possible. So at this point, there's a couple sayings that I'd like to use. One comes from Muhammad Ali. We as people, we always love a good countdown. But in this scheme, in this idea, perhaps instead of counting the days, perhaps we can make the days count. His actual saying goes as such: don't count the days, make the days count. something to really ponder on. I find it interesting that they say that silence is the language of God and everything else is in poor translation. However, with that one, it makes sense. What's being, the message that's trying to be passed on. Every day is a new opportunity. And if we play our cards right, it'll open doors unknown. Another saying comes from Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius used this term, what we do now echoes for eternity. And us aiming to go higher than to, funnel in the trenches, our ability to push beyond, if we choose to, that perhaps can be passed on to our future descendants. There's a quote that was passed on in the Disney Plus episode called WandaVision. And the character Vision is talking to Wanda. And what he says is very, in my opinion, very iconic. And it makes one ponder on, the grief and the stress that we have in life. And, that grief and stress can be, very, it can mess with our health. But the term is used, or the saying is used, that what is grief if not love enduring? And, there's a lot of us that are grieving. There's a lot of us that are enduring. And that love, and if you choose to love in that way, because I don't judge, but if you choose to love in that way, you're devoting yourself, or you're submitting yourself to a purpose. And I think that's something that's valiant, that's valuable, and it's admirable. In our some weird way, it's the cross that we bear. And I don't understand every situation, and it would be dishonest to say that I would. However, I understand that there is people going through things, and they're trying to do everything they can to keep it together. And from one person to another, or one soul to another, I understand. I understand that. I respect that. And I pray that you have the strength to endure. And with that being said, when you see someone doing their very best to keep things together, it only seems respectful to lend a hand. And going forward, that'll be my aim, to make a world, or make the world that I exist, and anyone that dwells within, to see them, to try to help them, and to try to be, in my opinion, a genuine, authentic friend. So here comes the trigger alert. I don't really support any factions, any groups of any such. If you are my friend, you are my friend. Because one of the things that I find very interesting is, everybody has their time, but when the world turns their back, and they will, because We live in a world of popularity contests. People need to know that they have friends, genuine friends. The saying goes, to those who matter, they don't mind. And to those who matter, to those who mind, they don't matter. And I think that's a quote from someone being authentic and being genuine. Everybody has their role, per se, in playing out their cinematic movie. And I have to do mine. And if you're watching this, you have to do yours. But better to strive and aim to be the divine actor in God's story instead of being how do I say it without being cruel, being a stand-in for somebody else's. I pray that this makes sense. I pray that you find a purpose that you find worth submitting to and aiming for that goal to being the best version of you. I'll leave you with this quote. It's by a man of Al-Ghazali, and it goes like this. Desires make kings out of slaves, and desires, I messed that up, I'm sorry. Let's take it back. Desires make slaves out of kings, and patience makes kings out of slaves. And I think that's something worth noting. What we do here echoes for eternity. And if we choose we aim for the highest thing possible, who knows what's possible for not only us, but our descendants. One more thing. I hope I don't come off, I don't want to come off condescending or cruel, but, why do we not give reverence to the people that have gone before us, acknowledge their sacrifices, and make the most out of what they sacrificed for us to make what we have today possible? So going forward, what I'm going to attempt to do is to respect the people that have paved the way for us to make this, what we have today, possible. I thank you for listening. I thank you for taking the time to hearing what I have to say, and I hope there was something gained from it, positive. This is me signing out.